Have you ever set a goal, full of excitement and motivation, only to find yourself giving up a few weeks later? You're not alone. This is the story of Alex, a young man who, like many of us, was trapped in a cycle of starting and stopping. He dreamed of becoming a writer, of running a marathon, of learning a new language. But every time, his initial burst of motivation would fizzle out, leaving him feeling defeated and stuck. His apartment was a graveyard of half-finished projects, a dusty guitar in the corner, a stack of books on coding he'd only glanced at, a pair of barely used running shoes. He felt like a failure, convinced he just didn't have the discipline gene that successful people seem to possess. He believed discipline was a rigid, iron-willed force he simply couldn't muster. One afternoon, feeling particularly down, Alex was at a local park, watching the world go by. He noticed an older man, Mr. Chun, practicing Tai Chi. His movements were slow, deliberate, and graceful. Alex had seen him there every single day, rain or shine, for months. Intrigued and a little desperate, Alex approached him. He poured out his frustrations, explaining his cycle of failure. "I just can't stay motivated," Alex confessed. "I start strong, but then I miss one day, and it all falls apart. I feel like if I can't do it perfectly, there's no point in doing it at all." Mr. Chun smiled kindly, finishing a slow, flowing movement. "Ah," he said, his voice calm. "You think discipline is a steel cage. You believe it is about perfection, about never making a mistake. But true discipline, the kind that lasts, is not a cage. It is a garden." Alex looked confused. "A garden?" "Yes," Mr. Chun continued. "You cannot force a garden to grow overnight with a single burst of effort. You must tend to it every day. Some days, you water it. Some days you pull weeds. Some days, a storm might come and flatten a few plants. Do you abandon the whole garden then? No. You patiently nurture it back to health. You don't need a hurricane of motivation. You need the gentle, daily rain of persistence." He then shared his core philosophy, a lesson that would change everything for Alex. "Forget perfection," Mr. Chun said. "Embrace the 2-day rule. Never allow yourself to miss a habit for more than 1 day in a row. Life happens. You'll have bad days. You'll get sick. You'll feel tired. It is okay to miss 1 day, but the second day, that's when you must show up, no matter how small the effort. The goal isn't to be flawless. The goal is to not let one slip-up become a landslide." This simple idea was a revelation for Alex. It wasn't about being a robot of productivity. It was about being a human who was committed to getting back on track. He decided to put this into practice. He wanted to be a writer. Instead of vowing to write 1,000 words a day, a goal that had defeated him before he set a new, almost laughably small goal. Right, just one sentence. That was Italiano. 1 sentence a day. The first few days felt silly. He'd sit down, write a single sentence, and be done in 30 seconds. But he did Italiano. On the 5th day, he felt tired after work and almost skipped. Then he remembered Mr. Chun's words. It wasn't about perfection. He sat down and wrote his 1 sentence. The old clock ticked loudly in the silent room. He'd kept his promise to himself. A funny thing happened, often, that 1 sentence would turn into 2. Then a paragraph. Some days, he'd get lost in the flow and write for an hour. But on the days he was tired or uninspired, he still wrote his 1 sentence. He never missed 2 days in a row. He applied the same logic to his other goals. For running, he didn't aim for a 5-mile run. His goal was just to put on his running shoes and step outside. That was the win. Most days, once he was outside, he'd go for a short jog around the block. Soon, the block became a mile, but the rule was simple. Just get the shoes on. Weeks turned into months. Alex's journal, once empty, was now filling up with his story. His short jogs around the block slowly evolved into longer, more confident runs. He was building momentum, not through massive, unsustainable bursts of effort, but through the quiet, compounding power of small, consistent actions. he realized that motivation is a fleeting emotion, an unreliable friend. It comes and goes, but discipline, the way Mr. Chun described it, was different. It was a commitment, a system. It was about showing up for yourself, especially on the days you didn't feel like it. One evening, about 6 months later, Alex met Mr. Chun in the park again. "Your garden seems to be growing well," Mr. Chun observed with a knowing look. Alex smiled, a genuine, confident smile he hadn't felt in years. "It is," he replied. "I finally stopped waiting for the perfect weather and just learned how to tend to it, rain or shine. I wrote the first draft of my book." Mr. Chun nodded. "Discipline is not about who you are on your best day. It's about what you do on your worst day. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. You have learned that the smallest seeds of effort, planted daily, grow into the mightiest trees." Alex's story is a powerful reminder for all of us. True self-discipline isn't about punishment or perfection. It's about persistence. It's about forgiving yourself for a bad day and showing up for the next one. It's about choosing a system over fleeting feelings. So, what is your one sentence? What is your put on your shoes habit? Start small, so small that you can't say no. And follow the 2-day rule. Never miss twice. Because it's not the one grand gesture that transforms your life. It's the 1,000 small steps you take, day after day, that lead you to a destination you once only dreamed of. You have the power to build habits that stick. You have the strength to change your story. It all begins with one small, consistent action today. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe to BeNextYou for more content to help you build your best life. We'll see you in the next video.